Hey, Queen, so have you ever been so into someone that you couldn't stop thinking about them? You were so in love that it pretty much hurt. It was just so intense that you couldn't think about anything else, and it was just kind of all-consuming. You're crazy about someone. So I want to talk to you today about infatuation versus love, and also continue to explain the physical aspect of that, the biological aspect of that, which is pair bonding. So, the reason why I want to talk about this to you today is because basically every client that I have, or like 99% of them, come because they've been infatuated with someone or so into someone where it's like their life is stuck. Kind of like you can't move forward. You're kind of in a state of limbo. So they come to me because they want to, they want to find love, they want to get married, but they're so in love with someone. And first of all, let's clear let's clear up what it means to be in love. You see, love is like a huge deal. It's a profound, solid, not just an emotion, but a state of being that you grow into over time. As a woman, once somebody has proven to you over and over and over that they're worthy of your trust, they're worthy of your attention, they're worthy of your love. You see, I've been married for 13 years, and yeah, each year it becomes better. Each year we love each other more. Why? Because day in and day out, this person has been there for you to where you know them so profoundly. Therefore, the trust goes to that level of depth. It's not something that you feel for someone that you just met. You don't know this person. You don't know them. Now, there's infatuation that goes on for years, and I'll talk about that as well. The main component of infatuation is that you don't really know this person to a depth. Not only that, but they haven't done anything to prove themselves to you. If you're a man, obviously you're not a man watching this channel, but if you're a man, it's not a woman that has to prove herself to you. It's the other way around. It's a man that has to prove that he's worthy of your attention, worthy of your trust. He earned that trust because you know how they react for good and bad. And you know their ins and outs, and you choose that person every day. Love is choosing someone over and over again. And let me tell you, love does not hurt. Love is not painful. Love does not induce worry or anxiety. In fact, it's the opposite. Love is a warm feeling that envelops you with peace and calm. If it gives you anxiety, if it gives you uncertainty and worry and anything negative like that, you best believe that you are infatuated and not in love. Okay? So, someone that didn't prove anything to you, someone that didn't give you anything other than a couple of minutes of their time, someone that gave you crumbs, is not love. You are infatuated, and it's a problem. I'm going to tell you why. So, I'm going to talk about this example about a little story of someone that came to me. And this is like the worst case scenario that is ever so common, right? Girl, woman, whatever. She's been with guy for almost 5 years. Now she's 41 or 42. So she got together with this guy at age 35 or 36. Basically, she got together with this guy at the, like, not at the peak of her fertility, but at the point where fertility is just plummeting. So she decides to allow this man to try her out for 4 or 5 years. And then he never marries her. The truth is, he doesn't see her as a wife. He doesn't see her as the father of his child. She is the girl that is convenient, who has waited there. She is the girl who allowed that. She is the girl who spent her fertility years with a random. At the end of the day, it's a random if he's not a husband. Okay? So now she comes to me asking me, what can she do to get this guy to turn around? She's done everything. So she's asking me, what do I do to get this man to marry me? In other words, how can I convince him to love me? How can I convince him to be into me? How can I make him see me as a wife material, as a dream girl, etc.? She's asking me, how can I convince him? She's asking me, how can I chase this man to the moon and back? And I say, if this man wanted you as a wife, he would have made you his wife a century ago, 5 years ago. You are wasting your time, and you would best be wise to start circular dating. If he gives you a ring at that point, you'll have to weigh up your options. But, I'd be a bit, you lost your chance, I wouldn't be flattered with a ring after his ego is threatened. But anyway, that can happen, and that's what typically happens when you start dating other people. All of a sudden, there's competition. All of a sudden, it gets real. But what's the point of this story? Who in their right freaking mind wastes their fertility years? Not fucking nobody. Some guy they're fucking. Who in their right mind does that? Nobody in their right mind does that. And guess who does all these kinds of things? Someone that is infatuated. Because infatuation, what it does is removes all rational thinking. All decision making that is made with your brain and your common sense is totally out the window. You can kiss your brain goodbye once you're infatuated. Why? Because you are now under the influence of hormones. You get a massive dopamine hit when you're thinking about this person, around this person. You become blind to other options. You become blind to the world outside of you, full of abundance and things that it has to give you. Oh no, because you are obsessed with this guy. You are chasing this guy. You are the masculine in that scenario. And he's a feminine, just sitting there, relishing all the chasing you're doing. So the most important takeaway in this video is when you allow yourself to fall into infatuation with someone, your critical thinking, your rational thinking goes out the window. You're in effect stupid, in effect. And you will make all kinds of stupid decisions, like giving your fertility away, like waiting for someone for a century, or I don't know. Think of all the stupid things that you can do by being obsessed with someone. Now, how do you get obsessed with someone? How do you become infatuated? Well, the pair bonding mechanism starts in a female, in a human female, by intimacy. Intimacy doesn't mean sex. It means that you are getting close to someone, spending time, getting to know them. They're getting to know you. So you are getting close. And even as spending a little bit of time each time, it's happening. And next thing you know, you're head over heels for this guy. And next thing you know, you have eyes for no one else. And that's the problem. When you have no eyes for anyone else, and again, this is designed by nature so that you bond with this guy forever, okay? Back in the day when you were more primitive, you would not be allowed to spend time with a male alone. And obviously, you would not be allowed to choose your own mate when you were young. Why? Because you don't know better, right? So you wouldn't be allowed to spend time with a guy so that he wouldn't do you and so that you didn't get obsessed with him. So you spending a bunch of time or any time with a guy over and over, it will cause that on you. Now add to the equation some, some kinky time, and your rational thinking is out the window. So pretty much all the horror stories that you hear in dating, kind of like, oh, she got together with this guy and now they have 3 kids and the guy doesn't provide and like this and that. What woman in their right mind does that? No one. But when you're infatuated, you'll do this stupidest things you can imagine. So in my channel, in my programs, in my dating programs, the first thing that I teach you, You are to remain rational, cold-headed, and cold-blooded at all fucking times. Yeah? At all freaking times. Because you are to be making decisions that are good for you. And that is the ultimate dark feminine energy. When you're able to look out for yourself, look out for yourself, and take those decisions that are best for you in the long term, that actually improve your life. You know, not like, oh, what gave me 20 seconds of bliss? Or like, oh, what's keeping my mind occupied at the moment? No. So when you tap into your dark feminine energy, you are strategic because it does imply that you know how to use your masculine energy. There's that balance in you. You have codes of conduct, you have strategy, you have long-term thinking. This is masculine energy traits or energy, right? Because without that, you are royally fucked. Kind of like, yeah, you're like now 40 or 40 whatever, and you're in limbo, or 30 and you're still in limbo, right? Without having a clear path, a direction in your life, and so on and so forth. So the gist is, don't. Don't do it. And I'm going to tell you the truth. So for you to like get rid of infatuation, it takes like 3 to 6 months without you being in contact whatsoever with this person. If you have any sort of contact, it kind of restarts. And if you, for whatever reason, have contact with this person for something that is not in your power, girl, you're going to have to snap out of it. Literally snap out of it. Where your brain will have to, or yeah, where your rational you will have to overcome your biological state. And let me tell you, this is one of the most difficult things in the planet. You know what it's like? It's when you're starving. Well, it's similar to that. When you're starving and you're like, no, I'm not gonna eat. It's painful, and not everyone can pull that off. But people do it, you know? So, because if you don't, kind of like if you are 500 pounds are on a diet, if you don't stick to this diet, guess what? You might end up dying of disease and all that stuff. If you are infatuated with a guy, you're not gonna maybe die, but actually you could, because you're gonna end up choosing a life that is so stressful to you that you're gonna end up getting all kinds of disease because you're so stressed and miserable. Autoimmune disease, like you see this all the time. I see this all the time. So remain infatuated at your own risk. If you're not able to snap out of it the way you would snap out of like eating that pile of sugar when you have a specific diet that doesn't allow that, or whatever calories you're doing, right? So anyway, that is what I want to say to you about infatuation right now. And it's probably the number one cause of of wrecks in your love life. So snap out of it. And until the next time. All right, ladies. So talk to you later.